my introduction. Before I start my introduction, thank you so much for all coming tonight. And before I start, I'm asking you to be a little more generous for my English, because as most of you know that I'm from South Korea and my English isn't quite that perfect, but I tried my best. Yeah, I really did. So I hope you understand if I make some mistake, but this is truly based on what I have been researching on her and have some conversation with her. So hopefully this helps you to get to know her a little better before she starts her talk. So okay, so this is really truly honor for me to introduce Farieda Nazier from the Johannesburg, South Africa. She's an artist, an educator and researcher who works centers around the socio-political themes. Her art is based on her experience in South Africa, especially related with some race division in South Africa. She converts her ideas to a variety of mediums. Tonight, we will, as we see, it's some of her video art from the exhibition titled Aftermath, 4 Woundings and a Sequel, with Mocha J. Van Vieren and Tommy Hector Manikela in 2012. Those works reflect on the effects of political traumas on bodies, and from intimate physicality to family, social, geographic, and architectural bodies. And about this, she will tell you guys more than me, deeper and more interesting way. So I will just give you guys this brief information. And so Farieda is currently teaching at the University of Johannesburg, and now she's a part of a tour in States. So after this exhibition at Principia tonight and tomorrow, she will move to New York and Massachusetts to complete her tour in States. So the Principia was able to host Farieda because she's a good friend of Karen Hare. They're one of faculty. And without your help, we could have missed this great opportunity. So thank you so much, Karen. So also, I really appreciate to English department and art and artistry department supporting this event tonight. So I think I should let her talk. So please join me to welcoming Farieda Nazier.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and welcome to this humble exhibition. Firstly, before I start, I'd like to thank the institution, Principia, as well as Karen here for your assistance and your initiative to get me to the institution, and Diana Ryan, as well as Clayton, who's everywhere, all the time, doing everything. Thank you very much for your assistance with setting up the show and organizing all the talks with the students. And Huni, yes, another person who was very instrumental in getting all of this together. Thank you very much for your assistance and for taking care of me. I've been talking for about 2 days straight since I've arrived. And this was part of my program here at Principia, to talk endlessly. So I've prepared a text that is based on excerpts of my writing, because I write and I also create visual artworks, and I'd like to read quite directly from these texts, and then perhaps start some sort of conversation around your own interpretations of these works, because generally the works that I create is as provocations or prompts to evoke conversation around issues of race, discrimination, oppression, and how that infiltrates in various other kind of day-to-day circumstances. So in response to an emotional or emotionally charged initial reading of Frantz Fanon's Black Skin, White Masks. My idea was to use the creative production process to elicit, interpret, and process my own memories of life experiences within the apartheid and post-apartheid social setting. A further aim was to represent, through the use of encoded visual objects, interpretations of memories around the theme of racial wounding, an action-reaction type ontology. My own creative production process was driven by a twofold need: to firstly evoke my own as well as a collective catharsis or conscientization process. Throughout the exhibition, ideas are presented as abstracted, sculptural, filmic, and performative forms. What we have on display here is obviously the video works, or the filmic forms. The sculptures are conceptually fundamental in the exhibition, in the broader exhibition, which was entitled Aftermath, an exploration of temporality, wounding, and the consequences of that wounding. And the elements around which the collaborative modalities, which is the video work and performance, resolve. So these video works was produced in collaboration with a film artist called Mokoyanse van Veren, and the performance, which is on the screen over there, was produced with Tami Victor Mankeka. My choice of materials for the sculptures was aluminium sheeting, or aluminum sheeting. The stark grey malleable metal is easily manipulated yet durable, which makes bending and shaping possible. The intention was to encode each abstract shape with a specific meaning based on the interpretation of personal memory through various technical manipulations to explore the notion of wounding. The objective was to gain insight into the creation of a wounded or traumatized psychological body. During production, abstract geometric shapes cut from aluminium sheets provided a tangible, fundamental code and a starting point for grappling with previously repressed and undisclosed ideas. The use of geometry to carefully calculate the shape and dimensions of materials, as well as the manner in which they are inscribed or wounded, alludes to apartheid's deliberate intention to transform by violence. I view these skin-like sheets as definitive of the voluminous yet hollow bodies they transform into, thereby metaphorically assigning the role of skin as social signifier, or the color of one's skin. And this text is from a published work which is in the Critical Arts Journal and it's available online. So beyond the South African situation, I find parallels in the US in terms of the idea of post-race and post-apartheid. And a lot of the discussions throughout the past 2 days, we've spoken about iterations of racism and racial discrimination in the American or the US context. And I'd like to open the floor to have a conversation about people's own experiences, personal experiences of that here. We have very parallel histories in terms of how racial laws were imposed on the entire nation of the US as well as in South Africa. In South Africa, though, the difference would be that it was a specific regime or government that was devised in order to oppress. Here there were specific laws, but it never had a singular name. In South Africa, it's very easy to pinpoint and say there was apartheid and this is what it caused. Here it's very difficult because there were certain laws that had a traumatic effect on the people of the US of all skin colors. And what hasn't happened, in my opinion, and you're very welcome to contest this, is any sort of reparation work, any sort of reconciliation related to that racial trauma. In South Africa, we have the same problem, but we are 20 years younger in our democracy and in our liberation process. Do you have any questions thus far, or would you like to continue?